In 1954, a U.S. Marshal, Teddy Daniels, and his new partner, Chuck All, were sailing towards the isolated island of Shutter Island. They have been sent there to investigate the disappearance of a patient from the island's Ashcliff Hospital, a facility for the criminally insane. As they arrive on the island, they are greeted by the deputy warden, who further drives them into the mental facility. As they arrive there, he tells them there are 3 wards, out of which Ward C is the most dangerous and is forbidden for everyone. Once they are inside, they meet Dr. Cawley, who tells them that a delusional patient named Rachel Solando has vanished. The doctor explained that Rachel had drowned her 3 kids and that she is criminally insane. The doctor told them that Rachel believed the institution was her home and that no one knew how she got out. Teddy and Chuck went to inspect her room, and Teddy found a note which read, "The Law of 4, who is 67?" The marshals then joined the warden on the search for Rachel outside the facility. Back at the facility, they ended up interviewing the staff for any clues about Rachel. One of the nurses told them that she was in a group therapy session with Dr. Sheehan. Teddy insisted they talk to this doctor, but they were informed that Dr. Sheehan wasn't on the island anymore. They tried calling him, but with no luck. They went to Dr. Cawley, and there they also met Dr. Nehring. Teddy requested that they need all the personnel files, but Dr. Nehring declines, leaving Teddy furious and threatening to leave the next day. As Teddy and Chuck went to bed, Ted had a dream or a memory of his wife, and in this memory, his wife told him that Rachel never left. He hugged her as blood came out of her head and she slowly started turning into ashes. The next day, they decided to continue the investigation and asked to speak to the ones who were in the group therapy session. Teddy interviews the other patients one by one, and even though he didn't learn anything, he kept asking each patient who Andrew Ladis is. Teddy later reveals to Chuck that Andrew is the arsonist who killed his wife and that he is supposed to be at Ashcliff, but is seemingly missing. Searching for any leads, the 2 of them went to a secluded cemetery, but as the storm began howling, the 2 of them found a cabin where they hid from the storm. Teddy reminisced about the war and all of the terrible things he had witnessed and done there. Teddy shared his theory with Chuck about Shutter Island experimenting on the prisoners' minds. He revealed that he has interviewed a former patient named George Noyce, who told him that this place is conducting illicit experiments. When they met with Cawley, he revealed that Rachel had been found, and when they asked her where she was, she had the weirdest answer, which spooked Teddy, and she said she wanted to bury him. Back at Cawley's place, Teddy had a severe headache, to which Cawley gave him pills to stop the pain and got him a bed. As he slept, he remembered the mountains of corpses on which he fought in his last war. He then saw Andrew sitting in Nehring's chair, as well as Rachel with her dead children right there on the floor. Teddy picked up one kid and put it in the lake. As he woke up, he saw his wife, who told him that Andrew is alive. Then he finally woke up to reality. In all of the chaos that occurred with the storm the previous night, Teddy and Chuck used this opportunity to sneak into Ward C in an attempt to find Andrew, who they believed was the 67th patient in the facility. They began exploring the ward when all of a sudden a bald man appeared and they ended up chasing him. In self-defense, Teddy punched the bald man and tried to choke him, but he was stopped by Chuck and the officer who put the prisoner back into his cell. As Teddy was left behind, he wandered around the ward and heard a man whispering. When he got closer, he saw that it was George, who told Teddy that he was in there because of him. George asked him if he could truly trust Chuck, and then Teddy saw his wife once again, while George told him he needed to let her go. However, George did reveal important information that Ladis is being kept in the lighthouse, which is where lobotomies are performed. When Teddy and Chuck went outside, Teddy wanted to go to the lighthouse. Chuck said he should go there alone, but even though Teddy agreed, he returned and found that Chuck was nowhere to be found. Looking down, he saw a body below the cliff and climbed down, but the body was gone. He saw a fire inside a cave, and when he went inside and saw a woman, she revealed that she is the real Rachel Solando. She was one of the doctors, and she had questioned how the island conducts human experiments. She revealed that they tested patients to control their minds and use them for the greater good. She explained that Ashcliff has likely been poisoning his food with psychotropic drugs, causing his migraines and dreams, and has been conducting brainwashing experiments on patients. Teddy then met with Cawley, who told him that George had a conversation with an unidentified man. Teddy asked if he had seen his partner Chuck, but Cawley looked at him confused and told Teddy that he arrived on the island alone. Confused with what Cawley told him, Teddy wandered around the facility and met Dr. Nehring and saw him holding an injection. He reacted and took the injection from him. Nehring insisted that Teddy was mentally wounded, but Teddy injected Nehring and ran. He got into a car when suddenly he started seeing his wife again. She told him that he needed to go to the ferry and get out, but Teddy was determined to find Chuck and was convinced that he went to the lighthouse. He swam to the lighthouse, took down a guard, and stole a shotgun. Once he went inside the lighthouse, he searched every room until he encountered Cawley sitting in the topmost room. Cawley asked Teddy just how bad his hallucinations are. Teddy confronted him about Rachel Solando, but Cawley called him delusional. He revealed that Teddy has been on the island for 2 years, and they have been treating him. This shocking twist of events left Teddy more confused than ever. To ensure Teddy he was telling the truth, Cawley showed him his intake form, stating that he was violent and denying all his crimes. He showed him 4 names, which were all made up by Teddy and were anagrams. Cawley further revealed another shocking revelation, that Teddy is Andrew Laeddis, and that he had created another self to escape from his crimes. Cawley also revealed he was extremely dangerous and was the one to have beaten up George. All of a sudden, the least expected person walked into the room, Chuck. Teddy, unable to believe all of the things that Cawley told him, asked Chuck who he is, to which Chuck responded that he was his primary psychiatrist for the past 2 years. He is Dr. Sheehan, the one Teddy was searching for. Together with Cawley, they allowed Teddy to wander off for 2 days to get him back to sanity. Having trouble believing any of it, Teddy threatened Cawley by pointing the gun at him. Cawley further explained that it was Teddy's wife who drowned their 3 kids, and she was Rachel Solando. Teddy held a picture of his kids, and he once again saw his wife as he slowly remembered what had happened. In a flashback scene, we get to see the reality of it all. Teddy, or Andrew, had gotten home from work one day and found his wife sitting beside the lake, completely drenched in water. He wondered where their kids were, and shortly after, he saw their bodies floating in the lake. He ran and tried to retrieve them as he cried in agony, but it was too late. He carried them out of the water and laid them side by side on the ground. His wife suggested they put them on the table as their dolls. Teddy looked at her in disbelief as she begged him to let her go. At that moment, he shot her as he cried over her body. He snapped back to reality to find himself inside the institution. He admitted to killing his wife and children, and that he made up the name of Rachel Solando. Cawley said that he needed to accept reality and not go back to his delusion. As soon as he went outside and met with Dr. Sheehan, he recognized him again as Chuck, and he was once again convinced that something is wrong with Shutter Island. When Dr. Sheehan hears this, he signals that Andrew was back to his delusions, which led him to the custody of the warden to conduct a lobotomy. Before Andrew leaves, he says his final words to Dr. Sheehan, which would be worse, to live as a monster or die as a good man? These last words indicate that Andrew addressed Dr. Sheehan as Chuck on purpose to get his death sentence. Subscribe for more videos like this, and turn on the notifications to never miss any of them.